Hey everyone, in this quick video today we're going to be talking about inspiration and motivation. It's my hope that by the end of the video you're feeling inspired and enthusiastic to get out there with your camera and make this year one to remember. Now, over the years, one of the main questions I've received from people is about inspiration. How do I stay inspired and motivated after a decade? How do I keep driving myself to get out there in the elements, spend countless hours driving and hiking and being out in the dark and the cold? How do you just keep doing that over and over? Now, I'm probably one of those annoying people in the sense that I haven't really struggled too much with inspiration ever since I first picked up a camera. My main inspiration's been nature, and that feeling that I know you've had yourself where you're out in nature and you're witnessing something amazing and it's like time stands still, everything's forgotten, you're completely in a flow state connecting with nature. And I think it's the pursuit of those moments which just keeps driving me forward. And that curiosity, that element of surprise that we always get when we are out in nature with our camera, where we can maybe plan something and then suddenly nature will surprise us with a fleeting moment in time. And it's knowing that those moments are out there every minute of every day. It's just a matter of being out there to experience it. So inspiration isn't something I've had to struggle with, but I know that for many people it definitely is, particularly people who, you know, you're not able to get out there regularly with your camera. Maybe you can only go out on the weekend, maybe it's only every second week or even once a month. Everyone's circumstances are going to be different, and I definitely sympathize with people who aren't being able to get out there as much as they'd like, or maybe you don't live in a beautiful place like I do, for example. The challenge there then is to really dig deep within and actually assess and ask yourself why you're a photographer in the first place. I think that's one of the first things that you can really do, because in order to move forward, sometimes we need to look back and figure out, okay, well, why did we get to this point in the beginning? Why am I drawn to this hobby, this art? What is it that I'm finding in there that is making my life more fulfilling? For me personally, I got into photography at a very pivotal point in my life where I was clinically diagnosed with depression, and to cut a long story short, I just happened to pick up a camera at that same time, and then I used the camera as a tool for self-expression and to somewhat let out some of the feelings I had, or even the numbness that I was experiencing. Getting out in nature started to make me feel something again and make me feel alive. So I guess my first little tip and point really is in regards to motivation and moving forward with your photography in 2023. Why don't you look back now at whether you've been shooting for a year, 6 months, 5 years, whatever it may be, and just take a look at some of your portfolio and put yourself back in the mindset of creating those images and start to ask yourself, what did I feel when I was doing that? What were those places and feelings like to me in that moment? And what is it that I enjoyed most about that whole experience of creating them? And I think once you narrow that down, it's going to help you start to move forward a little bit in cutting out some of the garbage and just narrowing in on what means the most to you. And the problem with the age we're in now, and the irony of me even mentioning this, is that we have access to too much information. YouTube videos just like this, social media, books, online articles, online courses, it's never ending. And one of the problems that you can find is that in your search for perhaps inspiration or filling in the time between going out with the camera, you'll start to digest a lot of information, as we all do, regarding our different hobbies and interests. But I've always found for me personally that absorbing too much photography actually burns me out from even going out and doing it. I feel like that I'm just getting overloaded and not getting a chance to let stuff out. Because when I'm out with the camera, that's my chance for my mind, my thoughts to digest, let everything go. And once you do that, then you're free to create and let your thoughts come out. If you're online all the time, looking at social media, interacting all the time, yeah, sure, there's positives that can come out of that. We can definitely find inspiration, we can pick up tips and tricks and, you know, bits of advice to move us forward. But I definitely feel like for all of us, there's that tipping point, and I feel like that you can actually get a burnout from that. So my other main advice then is, you know, once you've figured out what it is that inspires you and drives you, Start to dial back potentially some of the time that you're spending absorbing new information without actually going and applying the information that you already have. There's no point learning about all the different 10 tricks and 5 different hacks and all this stuff if you haven't even gone out for yourself and started to learn from trial and error. And that was one of the biggest things for me. I'm self-taught, and all my learning really was trial and error. It was going out, trying to get something, getting frustrated, finding a solution through multiple attempts, and then getting that elation, that reward that comes from that, and then moving forward from there step by step. So I think you really need to sometimes step away from photography to get inspiration as well. The very few times that I felt like perhaps I was on the verge of not feeling inspired to get out there, it really helped to just not worry about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop trying to force inspiration, and instead just let the inspiration come from me. And one of the funny things I've found with myself is that inspiration has actually come from factors way beyond photography. It could be seeing an athlete achieve something and reaching the highest pinnacle in their chosen field. It could be listening to a song. It could be watching a good movie. It could be just spending time with my family. Or it could just be walking outside and then just seeing the light hit leaves on a tree, and then suddenly I'm like, wow, I just want to get out there with my camera. So sometimes when you're trying to force the inspiration, it can actually backfire as well. And the final point, guys, really, and I've probably just been rambling and talking in circles here, but I think it's so important to have a bit of a vision for your photography instead of just aimlessly heading out with the camera and maybe replicating so much of what you're seeing online. And this does go back to absorbing all that content and information, is that it really influences you heavily when you go out with the camera. And you might actually find that you're out there doing something that maybe doesn't even actually move you or stir you. Going back to point one, what I mentioned about looking at your work and finding what was most fulfilling to you, we need to keep that in mind with our vision when we move forward with our photography. And if you find yourself maybe going out there and just going through the motions, then that's that opportunity to go, hang on a minute, why am I doing this? Am I just doing this because I've seen a million other people do it before? Or am I doing it because I actually enjoy it? I remember drawing a line in the sand many years ago, before I was even doing this full time. I've been doing this full time now for almost 9 years. But I remember very early on, I could see that social media, for example, was just heavily controlled by algorithms, things far beyond our control as the user. And it made me realize that I don't have to take any of it personal. Whether a photo gets likes or it doesn't, whether it gets comments, one gets more, one gets less, one goes viral, one doesn't, it almost just doesn't matter. The main thing that mattered to me, and should matter to you as well then, is what is fulfilling to you as the artist. Because at the end of the day, that's all that we have. And that is where we should put the most emphasis, the most energy and thoughts. If something feels great to you, if it's making you feel alive, if it's bringing joy into your life, then that's what you should create with your photography. And that's what you should share. And we shouldn't worry about what other people might think, if it goes against the norm. It just doesn't matter. And you know, at the end of the day, people, and we all do it, we're looking at so many images all the time, we're bombarded with information, that the harsh reality is most people are going to forget our photos anyway within the first hour. It's just another little bunch of pixels on the screen. So forget about that side of it. And I know that seems, hypocritical maybe. Here I am running a business off photography, but I think I've been successful in my business as a photographer because I haven't stressed about that stuff. And sure, maybe my business could be bigger, could be better, more money, but that's not my motivating factor. I have to stay true to myself and true to my art and true to what actually inspires me and brings me to life, and creating the images that I actually want to create, not making the ones that I think will resonate with people online. What's more important, staying true to yourself or just pleasing the masses, people that don't even really know who you are and are going to forget about you in 30 seconds time? So that's my main point there, guys. As you've reassessed your entire photography journey, you've figured out what it is that actually does inspire you and has made you happy. Maybe it's intimate scenes, maybe it's grand landscapes, maybe it's abstracts, whatever it is, black and white images. make sure you're carrying that moving forward. And if you find yourself just going through the motions because, hey, this is what you're meant to do in these moments and this is how I'm meant to shoot this frame, and if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling great, then reassess, stop, even put the camera down. I've done that so many times. I've gone out, I've been determined to create an image, and if I get there and I'm just not feeling it, that's it. That's the end of the day. I pack it up, I just enjoy nature. I just enjoy being there. And then sometimes it's once I've done that, bang, then I find the image, there's the moment. So don't get too fixed on having a very specific, strict, hard goal for yourself. Just stay true to yourself. Just feel it. And if you're not feeling it, don't worry. Put the camera down, move forward. So anyway, that's enough rambling for me. I don't even know if it made any sense, but I figured at the start of a new year, why not just give you a few little insights about my personal journey. Let's keep it fun. Let's stay creative. Let's support each other. I appreciate your support. It really means a lot. I'm looking forward to sharing more videos on the channel moving forward this year. So thank you again. Leave any questions or comments below. I'll always get back to you, and I'll see you in the next video.